To start this construction, you begin with a base circle. Then place the point of your compass anywhere along the diameter of the circle and draw a second circle. So now you have two overlapping circles. Where the edges of them meet, that's where you put your compass point to then form a third overlapping circle. You then continue this process putting the point of your compass where the two circles meet and continue drawing 6 more circles around the central first circle you drew. Eventually, you will create what sometimes is called in geometry the seed of life. It kind of looks like a 6-petaled flower, and from it you can construct lots of other geometric shapes, including hexagons, rectangles, and triangles. Next, draw a straight line that crosses the center of the petals and extend the line out of the petals so it becomes longer and crosses across the whole thing. Do it again on the other 2 petals and finally on the last 2 petals. Straight line going all the way across. We're now going to draw a straight line going across the big petals. Find the 2 end points of the big petals and draw a straight line that goes through the center all the way across those big petals. You will have 3 of these big petal lines. You can see me doing the last one now. I'm now going to adjust my compass size so it is smaller than the original circle. Can you see the pencil is moving in here? The compass point is in the middle, but I will now be able to create a smaller circle inside that first larger original circle. I'm then going to use points along the petal to create more petal shapes. Here you can see I've drawn half the side of the petal. I'm then going to use that line, that circle I just drew, and I'm going to draw the other side of the petal. You need to continue this going all the way round. Place your compass point where the petal meets the inside circle you created and draw your outer petals. And you can see they're starting to form little petals that poke out of the original flower. I'm going to put my compass point on the very tip of the outside of these big petals. And from that, we're going to create a much larger petal. And we can choose the size of it by adjusting where we put the pencil. By putting it along the inner circle that we drew, we could get quite a thin, long petal shape. I want a slightly fatter petal shape, so I'm going to place it along the outer first circle I drew. And there we have the first part of my outer large petal, then the second part of my outer large petal. Once you get used to this process, you can choose where you place your pencil and your compass point so that you can adapt and change the design to suit your needs and what you think looks beautiful. You might have noticed that I'm holding the compass a little strangely. This is because it makes it a bit easier for you to see each step. Otherwise, my hand ends up in the way of the camera. Normally, compasses are held at the very top and manipulated with a few fingers. Here I have 3 petals so far, and I'm going to continue placing the point of my compass at the very tip of the larger petals, and you can see each time it creates one side and then the other of these extra large petals that come out. Once I've got to a certain stage in my design, I find it really helpful to use a pencil rubber to carefully rub out some of the lines that are just construction lines that I no longer need anymore. This helps me reveal the pattern that I do want to keep and work with later. I use a black fine liner to highlight around the outside of the petals. I begin with the central set of petals, both the thin ones and the fatter ones that are peeping out behind. And I also add central detail to the flowers, like these filaments and anthers that just highlight and bring the attention right to the very center. I work my way gradually over these outlines so that I can really see where the design will be, and I can start to plan and think in my head about the colors that I will use later. Here and here I created several other petals by placing the point and the pencil across the diameter of this little leaf. By doing that, I can form a little curved line that can form the base of the 2 leaves either side of the taller pointy one. So here I've got my 2 curved lines, and I create a little point in the middle and continue the curved line round. And same on the other side. This aspect of geometry is really quite exciting because you can use your own imagination, your own sort of geometric rules to decide how you want to construct certain shapes and use the geometry to guide your own drawings. You can see here I'm adding that outer leaf, and I'm using the straight lines that were drawn a long time back in the video to guide where the tip of the leaf goes. Once you've added all the pen detail, the exciting bit, of course, is adding colour. I like to blend several versions of the same colour so that there is a dynamic use of colour that attracts the attention. You can see I'm also working in black for the very dark shadowy bits underneath each petal, and that gives a 3D effect, makes the petals pop. You can see I'm using about 3 or 4 different reds to blend here. Some are lighter and some are darker. I'm using lighter reds along the very edges of the leaf and darker ones in the middle, with black as the shadows right inside under those bright small petals. It gives it a sort of 3D effect, and it's really fun to create. Really useful tip here is if your hand is rubbing over the areas that you've coloured, you tend to smudge them, so it's quite useful to lean your hand on a scrap bit of paper to stop it smudging the drawings you've made already. Here I'm using a dark green to draw around the veins of this leaf. Later I'll add a variety of different greens to keep that leaf alive and exciting looking, rather than just shading it in with only one single green colour. I hope you've loved this tutorial and really enjoyed relaxing to a bit of geometry like I do. If you love geometry and want to check out a few more tutorials by me, I'll put the link in the description below and also in the pop-up above on the right. You can check out my other artwork on Insta and Facebook at Nash Henkel Art, and if you haven't already, do please like and subscribe. I'd love your support. Thanks so much for watching.